Alright, I gotta admit, I actually did enjoy the Suicide Squad. I mean, after those clips they released, that just had very poor cringe jokes that wasn't funny at all, I can say after watching the film, I can confidently say I thought it was good. I mean, is it the best superhero movie everyone's saying it is? No, not even close. Frickin' critics suck. Nothing will beat Spider-Man 2, and if you say Spider-Man 2 is mediocre, I will hunt you down. Oh, just a second. Never mind, my lawyer said I can't do that again. So let's be honest, Suicide Squad makes sense as a team. They're just a bunch of bad guys going on a suicide mission, and if they all get killed, well, who cares? They're just throwaway characters. They're bad guys. That makes an interesting story, and I will say, did I read the comics? Absolutely not. But I still think it's a unique idea. But even with the comics, the characters before Harley and Deadshot were a part of it were just throwaway characters that wouldn't matter on what happened to them because they're D-list villains. DC would never let Joker on the team or, fuck it, Captain Cold, because those are iconic characters you just can't kill off, or you can because of comics, because like people say, characters truly never stay dead, because why would you kill off an iconic character just for shock? Alright, rant over. Man, I hope there's still an audience. So James Gunn is another interesting filmmaker. I think before Marvel, he actually created unique movies. Even if it was for laughs, they were generally good stories about mental illnesses with Super, or how humans make things worse with Slither. But really, after the Guardian films, I kinda never enjoyed his films, to be honest. You could tell he was held back with the Marvel films because Marvel is a big studio that doesn't really let their filmmakers creatively free. Fuck. Now the MCU fans are just gonna be disliking this now. Well, like John Hamm said,
I don't think about you at all.
But don't get me wrong, I still have respect for James Gunn. He did make the Guardian of the Galaxy a household name. So before everyone clicks off this video, let's finally talk about the Suicide Squad. Oh yeah, spoilers ahead, duh. So the movie begins with Michael Rooker as a prisoner, and he's attending his outside time, and he keeps throwing this ball, and then a bird lands on the ground. And without a single thought, Michael Rooker throws the ball at the yellow bird, killing it instantly, without any remorse. And from his character at the beginning, he's this no remorse type of guy. But really, after you meet the first team, you know, the throwaway characters, you actually get enough time to meet the characters just on the helicopter, how they act. But Amanda Waller sends the first team at this island at Columbia, and it really becomes a massacre fast because Pete Davidson's character betrays the team, and learn Amanda Waller doesn't know what she's doing. She's clearly never did a clear backstory, you know, check on the characters since Davidson betrayed the team, and her whole plan invading the island at Columbia was never thought out clearly. It was definitely inspired by the Bay of Pigs, where during the Cold War, America really didn't like Fidel Castro. He was really a dictator, and Russia gave him lots of nukes. So the government was freaking out, and again, really didn't have a clear plan and just sent out Cuban Americans to Cuba to invade, and it was a massacre. Just like how Amanda Waller really had no plan. So yeah, a bunch of Colombian soldiers outnumber the first team and just massacre most of them. And this is when I get to my first issue. No, before you cancel me, let me explain, alright? So, I totally understand killing a bunch of the Suicide Squad members. The team has suicide in its name. I know that's the point of the team. Most of them aren't gonna survive. But my real issue is, why did James Gunn decide to kill Captain Boomerang? It was just so unnecessary. I understand he was in the first Suicide Squad movie, but let's be honest, lots of people forgot or never seen the 2016 film. So lots of people are getting introduced to Captain Boomerang. And you kill him off the first 10 minutes, and he only says 3 things, and you kill him? Like, he was wasted. He was a wasted character you could have used. But you didn't, and that makes me really mad because lots of people don't know who Captain Boomerang is. Their first introduction to Captain Boomerang is this movie, the new Suicide Squad. Why would you kill him off? You wasted a great character that they could have used on future films. I exactly know why James Gunn killed him off. It was just for shock value, and I hate that. I hate when films waste a good character just for shock. It's lazy and insulting. So, now going back to Michael Rooker, you learn he's not as tough as he looks. He's scared at what he all sees. He sees lots of gory shit, and he realizes it's not worth it, and he would like to just go back to prison. He's acting like how in real life, how a normal human would react to during a war or massacre. You're gonna crawl up into your shell, and you're gonna be scared. That's a normal human reaction. Well, of course, Amanda Waller doesn't like that, so she blows him up. So now we get introduced to the second team. That's gonna be the main team now. And there's some flashbacks to how the team was formed days ago before the massacre. Nothing really much I could talk about the flashback. It was just the prisoners getting forced to join the team. So the only surviving members from the first team is Rick Flag and Harley Quinn, of course. And Rick Flag joins a resistance team while Harley Quinn gets taken as prisoner to the Colombian military. And now the new plan is to save Rick Flag. I enjoyed the dialogue between the second team. Like, they're not superheroes. They have no respect for anybody. They're humans like the rest of us. They have emotions. Like, of course they're affected that people have no respect for them. They're angry that people don't like them because they're just villains. And some of them feel ashamed on who they are. I like how James Gunn really just had the second team take a break so they can talk and communicate to each other. It felt very natural and realistic. It was just very nice to see that, let's be honest, the new Suicide Squad isn't about the action. It's about the team's dynamic. It's about how they talk, how they can connect to each other. It's just about, like, making new friends, and sometimes the friends are going to be crazy, but can you connect to them? Can you talk to them? It was just very nice to see the team just talk about random stuff. It was just very nice and very realistic to see that. It was very nice. But lots of other superhero films, mostly Marvel, it's just really about the action. And sure, the Suicide Squad has plenty of action, but like I said before, that's not the point. But the second team kills the wrong people to save Rick Flag, and we get introduced to the Resistance team. And another issue is the Resistance team. They were not needed at all, and they barely were a part of the film, where you just basically forgot about them. They really only showed up at the climax. Then they disappeared forever and they never show up again. Just a wasted storyline that really went nowhere. Now, talking about Harley, for some reason the president wants to see Harley. So they release her and brings her to the president's estate. And that's when the most weirdest and most unnecessary scene and the most unnecessary storyline is of the president gushes on how much Harley Quinn is an icon to the Colombian people. You know, she was Joker's sidekick and robbed and killed people just randomly. There was no reason for their stealings and killings. It's because they're crazy. So I just don't understand how the president likes her and claims she's an icon there. I know the president and his soldiers are a regime, but regimes have reasons for wanting power. Joker and Harley are just crazy. I just never understood it, I guess. But then Harley and the president have a few scenes of romance, and it's so unnecessary. It adds nothing to the story. It just felt like they just added it to the runtime for no reason. It adds nothing to the story, and she just kills the president right away. So you might be thinking, man, you have lots of issues with this film. Yeah, duh. I did really enjoy the film. I thought it was generally a good movie. But every movie has their issues. Even the great ones have issues. There is such no thing as a perfect film. There's gonna be issues, even if you enjoy it. So I just really want to talk about the characters now, because the rest of the film becomes a typical superhero movie that we're all used to. So really, the only characters I want to talk about are Polka Dot Man and John Cena's Peacemaker. I like the other characters, but those two are the deepest out of all of them. So first, I want to talk about Peacemaker. So basically, he's the Patriot Man. He loves America a little too much, and will protect America even if he has to kill lots of people. But as the movie goes on and he becomes connected to the other characters, he doesn't question his motives until he kills Rick Flag, another issue I got. But anyway, he kills Rick over a flash drive that contains bad things the American government did. And after he kills Rick Flag, he actually has remorse. He feels guilty. And to me, from John Cena's expression, he questions his motives. Is it really worth protecting a country when they aren't as perfect as he thought? I know he tries killing Ratcatcher, but I don't think it was actually about getting that flash drive. Hear me out. I think at that moment he was scared that Ratcatcher would tell the team. She definitely would, because she witnessed Peacemaker killing one of the members. But also, he was scared Amanda Waller would kill him if he doesn't continue his mission. Surprisingly, a great character I thought I wouldn't care about was, and I was glad I was wrong, was Polka Dot Man, a classic Batman villain that is definitely an F-grade character at the comics, but man, I was shocked by the great performance by David Dastmalchian. I think that's how you say his last name. Sorry, not good with names. He's definitely an underrated actor, because he's great and he barely says anything, but when he does, it's to further understand him or on how much he hates himself. Polka Dot Man is this depressed man. He doesn't want to live anymore. He's ashamed of himself from what his mother did to him in his past. He thinks of himself as a monster ready to explode. It's not until the end, when he helps stop the main villain, a giant starfish, or, Starro, he forgives himself. He's at peace with himself. Such a great character arc. He's definitely the best character. So yeah, I was shocked on how much I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. James Gunn created a unique story that goes deeper than you would think. This also shows how if WB would just let more directors be creative free, they could have great, unique DC films that does justice to the DC characters. That's also why I'm so excited next March for The Batman, because the great Matt Reeves has full control. Anyway, yeah, I think the Suicide Squad is good, and I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, it would also be nice if you guys could subscribe and like the video. It helps out the video to the greater mass, and just share it It's a nice thing to do. Alright, peace out guys. You guys are awesome. Peace.